across the Central Plains, which we'll be talking about later in the show. But yesterday we had 41 reports of tornadic activity from Kansas down into Texas, and we had strong wind reports all the way into Oklahoma and Arkansas and Louisiana today, and that's all going to slide off towards the east during the day and night tonight into tomorrow, and that'll reach our area by late tomorrow afternoon. We'll detail the exact pinpoint hours tomorrow, or tonight on the show for tomorrow. But most of the day tomorrow will be a fantastic day, a little bit breezy. We'll pinpoint that now with Margaret out at the wall. Oops, I guess not. We're having some technical difficulties here in the studio, so we're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit of that timing again. The first half of the day tomorrow is going to be fantastic. It's going to be in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees, and then we'll have to deal with a couple of showers after 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then maybe a slight chance of some severe weather, some very gusty winds upwards of 45, maybe 60 miles an hour, and a couple of those strong storms, especially off towards the western part of our area. So we're mainly west of Tallahassee, mainly west of Apalachicola even. If you're heading out on the boat tomorrow, get that in tomorrow morning, and then get into Safe Harbor tomorrow evening into, by Thursday and Friday, you'll be able to go back out into the harbor and out into the Gulf of Mexico, where the water temperatures are still in the 70s, but getting back onto land now. I do want to highlight a couple of those severe weather threat details here for you. Again, we're going to be talking mainly severe weather, severe winds, again, above 60 miles per hour during the day tomorrow, mainly during the afternoon and early evening hours. And this is going to be a quick mover. It's moved. Yesterday, we were talking here today, or yesterday on the show, that this was centered right over Denver. Today, we're talking more about central Kansas, and this is really going to scoot its way across Dixie tonight into tomorrow before reaching the Central Plains and the Central Appalachians tomorrow, and then really going across the country. We're going to go ahead and send it out to the overview here in just a second with some more information with Margaret, but she's going to be really talking about the whole rest of the show. All right, let's go ahead and head out to Margaret now.
Overview. Oh, okay, well, not really supposed to be that. Okay, well, we're going to do the overview right now, so not local quite yet. And you can't really see anything on there right now, but currently right now, 77 degrees, so it's a bit warm. So we're mostly cloudy, but as we get into the night and into tomorrow, we're going to see more clouds coming through. And that's because of this rain system that we're going to see, and we can move on to this graphic, which you can see a bit. That satellite and radar, all that system that's coming through, pushing through from this cold front, it's going to give us possibly severe weather into tomorrow. And we got this fixed finally. So we have this cold front system right here that's pushing over through Louisiana and Arkansas right now, but as we make it into tomorrow afternoon, that's when we're really going to see the effects from that. So we're going to have more on that later, but tonight 68 degrees, so if you get cold fast, you might want to take a light jacket, but it won't be anything too bad. We won't see any rain. It'll just be a lot of cloud cover. But what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the show, it's going to be remaining warm until tomorrow, and then when we do get those rain chances increasing from that front that pushes through, that's going to bring in a lot of rain, and we're going to have the cooler temperatures afterwards. But I think we're going to send this ahead for our local one, and where we're going to give this to Zach, who can give us just a local on what's going on right now.
Hey Kate, thank you very much for that. All right, let's advance to our local. Here's today's almanac. 81 degrees is today's high. 82 is what it should say. It says 81, but today's high, we did reach 82 degrees. 73 is our average, and 85 is that record. 62 is our low. 47 is the average. Our local warnings, you can see a rip current advisory out in Franklin County, small craft advisory out on the waters in the area. Otherwise, we're staying clear on our watches and warnings. Sorry about that. I had to step off to fix a graphic. Otherwise, our watches and warnings are looking quite fine for now. As we zoom out, though, and we will zoom out, I will show you that there's some more warnings out to the east, or out to the west, excuse me. where we're beginning to see some severe weather that will march our way. Right now, still sitting around 77 from Monticello and Tallahassee, 78 down in St. Mark's. Our satellite and radar, we continue to have that cloud bank moving on in towards our region. Earlier, you could even see a couple of popcorn clouds across the area, mainly for areas to the east. I'll step over on the western side of the map, and you can begin to see there's those popcorn-like clouds. Fair weather cumulus clouds is what we call those. Nothing severe weather-wise with them. Otherwise, we had a very low cloud bank over Tallahassee, portions of Leon County, and out towards Gadsden as well. That's associated with the bulk of the moisture that's going to move our way. Futurecast will time it out for you really fast. You can see here comes this front marching towards our doorstep around 10, 11, 12. It's moving through Pensacola. By rush hour tomorrow, we're looking at some severe weather possibly moving into the area. Maybe a tornado risk as well with it, as well as some winds. On the sand, not the day to go, 5 to 7 feet. Definitely not the day for the boat either, 5 to 7 feet with choppy showers and storms likely tomorrow. Southeast wind 20 to 25 knots. Tonight 68 and cloudy. Take a jacket. Winds east at 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow 81 cloudy. Again, we're watching for those storms likely after 1 p.m. specifically for some severe storms that could be spawning up some tornadoes or wind threats. We'll break that all down for you later on. Otherwise, here's your 7-day and looking pretty nice once we get past it. Margaret, tell us what's going on in the southeast.
Well, if you're looking out further west around the southeast,
We've got this huge mess of storms, and that's a cold front. It's going to be coming our way, as we'll see in the Futurecast a bit later. There is some severe weather associated with this system, and so we're going to have that, a little bit more detail on that later on in the show. Right now, around the rest of the southeast, though, we got those upper 70s, lower 80s dominating Florida, South Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, even into New Orleans along the Gulf Coast. That it's still pretty warm and it's cloudy. But if you look west over to Little Rock and Shreveport, rain and 55 in Shreveport, so much cooler than it is over there. And that's that cold front, that strong temperature gradient, the hot temperatures here, cool temperatures there. And that's what's coming our way over the next couple of days. The heat indices, I don't even know why we're looking at them really, unless you're down in South Florida. 86-degree heat index in Key West, but up here in Tallahassee, an 80-degree heat index, barely noticeable. And there's no data up further north because it's just not really all that noticeable. Water vapor, this is the upper level moisture. It is very moist here in front of the cold front. And then behind that cold front, it's very dry. So there's a lot of storms associated with that. That mixture of, or that boundary between the wet and dry air is a huge thing with generating storms. Dew points currently reinforce the heat index. The dew points are more surface level, and they're pretty high out here where we see all these green contouring. But then going out further west, the yellows and browns, it's very dry out there behind that cold front, and those cool, dry temperatures are on their way here. Behind all this rain that we'll see here as this cold front advances through in the Futurecast, that slowly making its way here are the overnight hours, and it really comes in Wednesday morning and through tomorrow during the day. It's going to be a mess, so do try and be safe if you have to be out and about tomorrow. But for now, we're going to send it back to the desk with Shane and John.
Thanks, Margaret. Now we're going to talk about some weather history that is very fitting for a day when we're talking about severe weather, because on November 17th in 1989, it was really cold across the southeast.
Yeah, November's always a mixed bag of weather. You can get sun for weeks, and then you get some storms, and then you get the cold as well. And in this particular storm, we had a lot of freezing temperatures, right?
Absolutely. 8 cities reported record lows for November 17th, including Gilbert, Arizona, Arkansas, coming in at 8 degrees.
Wow, that's cold for Arizona, or Arkansas. You got me going here. We're just going to roll along here with the weather here.
Yes.
But
very exceptionally cold for this time of year, even though we're turning into the winter season. You know, Christmas music's playing, the cold temperatures are beginning to dip further south, but 8 degrees is a record. And this was a very severe weather outbreak that caused this cold outbreak as well.
Sorry, Kate.
Yeah, areas off towards the west, we're going to look at that with you, Shane. It's getting cold out west behind this front.
Yep, it's time to talk about the national weather. And there on that map you can see behind us, we're warm out here in the east, and it is pretty darn cold out there in the west. There we go. We got that map going full screen for you. 37 degrees right now in Denver, 77.
That Mike.
Cold air. And we've got cold. We've got cold air coming in from the west behind the cold front, and we've got a radar here that really illustrates this low pressure center off there near Minneapolis, and we've got two bands of rain drifting out from it, with the warm front here in the north where warm air from the Gulf is pushing northward, and the cold front here over the heartland where cold air from the north is really trying to force its way into the Texas land region right now. As for airport delays, though, the system hasn't been too impactful. We're just reporting a 23-minute delay out there in Minneapolis right now. Let's take a closer look at this winter weather, which is a common feature of the mid-latitude cyclone this time of year. Over Denver right now, we've got lots of heavy snow moving into the northwestern regions of Kansas right now. And associated with that, of course, we've got winter weather advisories. This orangish colored warning right now is a blizzard advisory right now. The purple shaded counties are under winter weather advisories. We've also got winter storm warnings up there in northern Idaho and Montana. Now let's take a look at the severe weather outbreak in the middle of the country right now. Large bands of very heavy rain, and it's very widespread heavy rain as well. Almost the entire state of Arkansas is under yellow and red right now. That is torrential downpours. And so accordingly with that, we've got very large regions shaded and outlined in green here for you. Lots of flash flood warnings, flood advisories, you name it, we've got it on this map right now. The yellow shaded region is a little more serious. That's where there is a tornado watch out right now. The red is another flash flood warning for you. We've also got a tornado warning here in the Mississippi Valley region on the Arkansas-Mississippi border. So do be careful, alert your friends if you have any out there. Now let's talk about where the system is going. We've been talking about it the whole show. The forecast has not changed in the last 10 minutes, I'm happy to say. We've got this system pushing its way into the North Florida region within a few days. We're talking about an afternoon arrival tomorrow, and then we're going to throw you a few numbers. 70 degrees tonight in Tallahassee, bone chilling up there in Denver, 29. Coming in tomorrow at 54 degrees in the capital of Colorado, 80 degrees here in Tallahassee. And now we're going to throw it off to John for the local.
Yeah, we hit a high temperature today of 82 degrees here in Tallahassee. Here's Doak Campbell Stadium. Fantastic sunset there about a half an hour ago here in Tallahassee. And it's going to be a couple of days of on and off cloud cover here. And that's what you're seeing here across the Big Bend area. A mixture of clouds and sun, and that's where we're going to be going for tomorrow. It's the cloud cover. That's going to be the main cause of everything here in Tallahassee. It's going to be cloudy on and off. 77 is where we're at right now here in Tallahassee, 79 in Wilma, 74 in Carabel, and where we've had the sun today, namely Perry and St. Mark's, is where we're a little bit warmer today than where we were the last couple of days, but there's a lot more cloud cover coming in from this storm system that's crossing through the Arklatex and the Arklamis right now. Mississippi is starting to get in on some of that scattered rain action. Actually, Houston dropped 20 degrees below where they were before this front compared to where they were after this front. Shreveport also noting those temperature drops today. Little Rock actually saw a batch of flooding for a couple of hours in the capital city there in Little Rock this afternoon. Here across the tri-state area, no flight delays, but those roads are going to be on the messy side as we head into tomorrow evening with this cool front coming through. What's feeding that cool front is all of these east-southeast winds coming in off the Gulf. Lots of moisture, lots of warmth down, and these come breezy here during the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow. Could be upwards of 20-mile-an-hour gusts across, especially those coastal areas. St. Mark's down towards Apalachicola could be on the breezy side tomorrow. I want to watch this map. Watch this time. This time is actually going to move here. These temperatures are not going to change a whole lot. We're only going to be dropping down to the upper 60s or low 70s during the overnight hours tonight. Off towards the west, where they won't have as much cloud cover tomorrow, about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, those areas will be in the 80s, but off towards the west with more cloud cover, they will be in the low to mid 70s tomorrow. But again, we won't see any big temperature drops until that cool front really comes through during your day on Thursday. We walk you through your day tomorrow. 73 degrees is where we're going to start the day. Again, very warm tomorrow morning. We'll have squally weather during the afternoon to early evening hours between the hours of 3 and 8 o'clock tomorrow. Tonight we're going to be sitting at 68 across the area, 70s along the coast. St. George Island only getting down to about 73 to 74 degrees. Again, that rainfall and those storms will be coming in after 1 o'clock for our western regions and getting out of our neck of the woods by 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. Here's the look at the next 5 days here. Those temperatures will cool off by Thursday and Friday, looking sunny and fantastic by Friday and Saturday, with temperatures only reaching the upper 60s on Saturday, guys.
64 on Sunday.
I like that.
Yeah, that reminds me of Virginia for sure.
Yes, definitely. I like those colder weathers. But we're going to take a little sidetrack from our weather.
Yeah.
And so I read an interesting story today.
All right, tell me about it.
All right, so in New York, there's overgrown munition bunkers.
Okay.
And so there's white deer.
White deer. First off, you know me and my love for animal stories. So continue.
All right. So the white deer, they aren't albinos.
Okay.
They're just
missing a pigment.
They're a white-tailed deer that
Okay.
they got stuck in this munitions because they built a fence around it when it was built, so it kept them in. So I guess after a time, it's all natural.
So why are we talking about them?
Okay, well, they're starting a fundraiser up in New York to raise money because the lot's going on sale now.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure that the deer aren't going to get run out and killed.
And how many are there?
At least 200, if not more. So.
Very, very cool. All right. Well, there's your animal story for the day. We'll send it on back out to Shane, who's got a little thing about around Florida.
It is warm out there, let me tell you. We're in what we call the warm sector. We're wedged between a warm front and a cold front, and it is warm and sticky out there too. 77 degrees in Tallahassee, 70 in Jacksonville, warming up to 80 degrees down there in Miami in South Florida. Our current satellite and radar shows that there's not much action going on in the Sunshine State right now, so you could say we're living up to our name, except up here on the Panhandle, where the early clouds preceding the cold front are starting to blow into our region, and we sure feel the moisture as a result of that. Let's talk about current winds. These are all oriented out of the east right now, and some are pretty darn gusty. 17 miles per hour in West Palm Beach, 17 also in Pensacola, 7 miles per hour here in Tallahassee, and that's pushing that moist air into our region, at least at the surface. Way up above our heads, we've got a lot of water vapor over Tallahassee right now, which we can see when we look up at those clouds up there, pure water vapor right there above our heads. Dry conditions persist down in South Florida where they got really warm, and we can see those vibrant shades of green all across the southeast above my head there. They're going to be moving into our region along with this cold front, and we'll know it when it comes because it will be raining. Right now, though, it's not raining in the Panhandle, I'm happy to say. It's sticky, but it is clear above Tallahassee. Just a little interference on the radar right now. Let's shift our gaze out to Jacksonville, and we're seeing more of the same. Just a few spotty showers there to the southwest of Jacksonville there in Duval County. And now moving down the peninsula, we see Orlando. High and dry there over Disneyland and Universal, so it's a great day to head out to the theme parks. And then finally, shifting our gaze to the southern tip of the peninsula, the Everglades also. A few spotty showers there just to the north of Miami, but nothing much across the whole Sunshine State. This isn't going to be the story forever, though, so let's talk about the future. We can spend a little more time on this map right now. We've got the cold front, those vibrant shades of yellow and red on our map right now, also orange indicating very heavy rain entering Pensacola early tomorrow morning, getting Tallahassee by the evening time hours, and then proceeding across the panhandle of Florida, onward to the Jacksonville region and Tampa as well as we move into Thursday. But bringing it back home for tonight, 70 degrees in Tallahassee, 66 in Jacksonville, only getting down to 78 in Miami. As for tomorrow, we're going to climb up to a high of 80 in Tallahassee before the clouds start moving in. Only 75 in Pensacola. It'll be gray and wet all day for them. And then on the peninsula where it'll be sunny, we're talking upper 80s from Orlando and Tampa down to Miami. Now let's send it off to John for the varying segment.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. It's been a very wet day across much of the center part of the country today, from Houston all the way up into Minneapolis, Des Moines, Chicago, all having delays in the last 24 hours at the airports there. Like I said earlier, Little Rock had quite a bit of flooding there for a couple of hours down at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock campus there. This is slowly moving off to the east today, but it's going to really gain some steam as we head into the day tomorrow. And we've had a lot of damage across the center part of the country. There were 41 reports of tornadoes from Kansas, Nebraska, and the western parts of Oklahoma and northern Texas here. This is slowly moving off towards the west, but what we really haven't talked about today is that there has been a lot of snow across eastern Colorado over into Kansas. Goodland, Kansas had blizzard conditions today, winds over 35 miles an hour. Even a couple of gusts in western Kansas of above 60 miles per hour. But the main focus for severe weather has been across this line. Winds here above 60 miles an hour in some of these isolated cells as this whole line moves off towards the east. We've had quite a bit of lightning from Louisiana up into Arkansas and moving across the Mississippi now, and this is going to be heading off towards the east as well. Winds are also on the high side. Memphis have seen gusts of 40 miles per hour today. Look at this green area in western Kansas. That's winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour gusting there in parts of western Kansas. Goodland down towards Guymon, down into the Texas Panhandle, Amarillo, seeing winds of 40 miles per hour today. And the severe weather threat is really pinpointed today along the Mississippi River through this evening, down towards Alexandria, up towards Memphis. And that's where we are expecting numerous reports of heavy wind damage there from Memphis down to New Orleans. This whole thing slides off towards the east during the day tomorrow into our neck of the woods. The highest threat for tomorrow will be from Defuniak Springs over towards southeastern Louisiana, including the area of Mobile and Biloxi, but we couldn't rule out a couple of very strong storms tomorrow here in Tallahassee down towards Apalachicola and up along the tidewater of the Carolinas down into southern Georgia as well. We're talking Valdosta. We could have numerous thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong at times with a lot of sunshine during the early morning hours. A couple of these storms could be strong as they cross into Apalachicola and over towards St. Mark's in that area. 60s where we're going for the day tonight. This is all before the front. Look off towards the west. Those temperatures are going to be dropping into the 40s and 30s back into Texas. But we're going to be stuck into the 70s one more day here in Tallahassee, and then 80s tomorrow for a very brief period of time. This is probably going to be during the early morning hours here before those storms really move in. Those temperatures will be falling throughout the day. So I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that weather here in Tallahassee. Oops, I'm telling.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to be going towards the desk. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we'll come back to the desk.
Yeah. Okay, so you usually do our sports on Tuesdays, so today we didn't really quite get a chance.
Yeah, we've had some severe weather and some technical difficulties, but some severe weather. So I'll just kind of breeze through it really fast.
Yep.
That's all right?
Yep.
Yeah. So football, major decision, major news that probably a lot of people haven't really seen coming. Okay, some have. Yeah. Sean McGuire. Jimbo Fisher yesterday after the press conference, after practice, deemed Sean McGuire the new starter for Florida State. He will be starting against Chattanooga, more so likely also starting against Florida. That's the biggest news coming out of the football this week. Yep,
and then we have the basketball game.
Basketball game tonight against Jacksonville, 9 p.m. Tickets $10. Students can show up for free with their FSU ID or get tickets at Seminoles.com.
Yep, and now we do Local 3 with Margaret.
Yeah.
Thanks. Around the area, it's still warm. 77 here in Tallahassee, 70s throughout the entire southeast tri-state area. A bit warmer down south, 82 in Tampa, cooler up north, 67 in Macon, but it's still warm. Looking at our satellite and radar, we've had some clouds moving in today. This morning I was clear skies and I'd wished I'd pulled my sunglasses out, but as I was walking around this afternoon, those clouds were starting to build, and so that's just coming ahead of the cold front that we're going to see tomorrow that we're starting to see show up on the radar, but not here quite yet. Now, if you want to know what am I supposed to expect? Well, here's that cold front here. These storms here and the blue line draped across it, that's the cold front, and as we set it into motion, it's slowly making its way this way, bringing storms in its wake that New Orleans and southern Mississippi and Alabama, those have storm risk for tomorrow. And the front will be starting to make its way to our area tomorrow afternoon, but it's not quite here yet. Winds, right now they're all coming out of the east. 17-mile-an-hour winds over in Pensacola. And when we do get that cold front come through, those winds are going to shift and they're going to bring in much cooler air. Looking at tonight, 68 degrees and cloudy. It would be a fantastic idea to bring a jacket if you're going to be going out and doing anything, walking around campus, maybe watching what clouds you can see in the dark, or if you are going to go play any sports outside, that definitely bring a jacket unless you're from very far up north, and 68 degrees is a warm temperature, especially since we'll have some of that wind out. Now, if you want to know what to wear tomorrow, have your rain boots, your ponchos, your umbrella, all your rain gear, have that ready for action tomorrow, because it may be dry in the morning when you wake up, but it's going to be raining by the time the day ends. And Thursday, keep that umbrella and all your other rain gear out, because those showers are going to be sticking around. It's going to take more than just one day for that cold front to make it through, so have that umbrella handy. But when we get to Friday, your jeans, your light jacket, those are going to be ideal because it's going to be cooling off. Now looking at the rest of the week ahead, those rain chances for Wednesday and Thursday, 60%, temperatures upper 70s, low 80s, but then once that cold front clears through and we get those beautiful clear skies, temperatures are dipping down towards 70 degrees and even lower than that. It's going to be fantastic for that game day. What do you guys think about that at the desk?
69, count me in.
Yeah, that'll be good football weather.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. 3:30 game against Chattanooga. Again, Sean McGuire started.
Yep, so again, we're going to have a lot of severe weather that's going to be in effect.
Yep, the possibility of severe weather moving into tomorrow. I believe the main threats, again, for at least our immediate region are the risk of isolated tornadoes as well as damaging winds. Those are the two main threats. But I think, again, it's important to stress that the bulk of the energy, the bulk of the severe weather threat still laying to our west. Doesn't mean that we're out of the woods, but the threat still does exist.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing those rain chances, of course, tomorrow, and even some into Thursday.
Yeah,
where we'll see just the trailing ends.
Sunny. 10% on Sunday. Don't really worry about that too much. Check out those temperatures in the 60s.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll keep you up to date all about the severe weather tomorrow on Facebook and Twitter. Also, if severe weather threatens before we're on air, you can always check livestream.com/FSU Weather. That's where you can find us 24/7, even with live breaking in news coverage.
Yep, and we're always here for you, making sure everyone is safe.
Yep, safe and sound.
Safe and sound, exactly.
There we go. But on behalf of everybody here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Zach Covey.
I'm student meteorologist Kate Nagel.
Have a great night, everyone.